social media buzz has sort of been generated around this LSU Ole Miss game. Vaught Hemingway Stadium will be packed, hosting a top 5 LSU team. Trinidad Chambliss is the guy at quarterback for Ole Miss. He has been phenomenal these last 2 weeks. Phenomenal. He's an explosive athlete, and LSU, really, this Clemson win that they've had, it's kind of looking not great. Louisiana Tech gave him some trouble. LSU really hasn't played a perfect game up until this point. They may have to on the road here against Ole Miss, who is favored by 1.5 points. Uh, we don't need to talk about the Whit Weeks, Landry Kiffin stuff. It's hilarious. But in terms of this game, what do you see from this? In the preseason, I think that there was some worry about this Ole Miss wide receiver room taking a huge step back, without Jordan Watkins, without Trey Harris. But holy cow, dude, Trey Wallace has been awesome coming from Penn State. Like, sure, he had that really great week one for Penn State last year in a big spot, but man, he kind of teetered off the rest of the season. He looks really good right now. And I do like the rest of this wide receiver core. I like Kawan Lacey. I like this Ole Miss offense right now. And defensively, yeah, it's not great, but has LSU been able to capitalize on that despite their immense talent on the offensive side of the ball? I would argue the offensive line hasn't looked perfect. Garrett Nussmeier hasn't looked perfect. The wide receiver, I mean, it just something isn't right there. Something isn't right. CD, I know you like LSU a lot. I mean, what are your thoughts here in this game?
Yeah, I mean Trinidad Chambliss is one of the better stories in college football, and we expect him to start against LSU. Obviously, Austin Simmons very talented, very good quarterback in his own right, but it's just been a different kind of offense, dynamic offense with Chambliss at the helm these past couple of games. His experience is really showing through. His athleticism, he's got a live arm. I was very impressed with Ole Miss and how they handled Tulane. Tulane looked tired, like they looked like they had played a pretty tough start to their schedule, which they had for especially for the American standard. You got Northwestern on the road at South Alabama, as well as Duke, and then obviously with Ole Miss. So that's where you saw a little bit of that. Their defense kind of just flexed their muscles. Chambliss did what he wanted to do. Very impressive stuff, nonetheless. I'm on LSU here because of that defense, man. Because of that defense, Blake Baker versus Lane Kiffin, they got some dogs in that front seven. Weeks. All those guys, all those weeks. You've got a rotation of defensive linemen that you can circle through. Harold Perkins, the ultimate chess piece. Tamarcus Cooley is one of the better players, I think, in the SEC. And then obviously you got a couple of really good cornerbacks as well that have had fantastic starts to the season. You brought up that Clemson win, Florida as well. Teams that, if you told me 3-4 weeks ago that LSU was going to be 4-0 going into this game, I'd be like, okay, how much are they favored by almost a touchdown? And I think part of that is, I think that Clemson win and Florida win is looking a little bit less respectable than it did at the time. But the reality is, I don't view it like that because I think that Clemson team was still extremely talented. I think that Clemson team in week one is a lot different than the team that showed up against Syracuse, right? It just seemed like a deflated football team. Florida is still extremely talented, extremely hard out. They didn't play well on the road at Miami, and they still had a chance to win that late in that game. So I don't know. I'm impressed with this LSU team. I love the defense. I trust Nuss on the road. He did not have a ton of great road starts last year. In fact, you saw him implode at points, but I expect him to be ready to play against Ole Miss. They found a little bit of a groove last week, albeit against Southeast Louisiana. Can you run the football, take care of it, and let your defense really get after this Ole Miss offense? Plus 1.5. Yeah, give me LSU.
Yeah, I think that if you're gonna bet, I think that that makes sense responsibly. Bet on the team that still feels like we don't know everything we want to know about these two teams, particularly with a new quarterback at the helm and the level of. I guess both these teams have played some pretty talented teams, and you would think that we would know more about these teams, but I don't feel like I know enough about these teams to consider wagering, on this. I do like Ole Miss minus 1.5. I like the Ole Miss offense in this. I like Trinidad Chambliss a lot. I like the fact that they're at home. I like the fact that you don't have to go to Death Valley. I think the defense can do enough. If you're in this ball game and you're in it late, all right, I'll I'll take the quarterback that's playing better right now. You know, and I would never have said that. Would never have thought that I'd say that about Trinidad Chambers for Ole Miss and Garrett Nussmeier for LSU. But I'm liking a lot what Chambers has to offer. So not enough for me to be betting on Ole Miss -1.5, but I totally understand the people that are on either side of this. Some of this is projection too. It's like, do you anticipate LSU kind of getting to that form that we expect them to be at? Because guess what? The defense is here now, right? It's there. Like you saw it, like you said against Clemson, like you said against Florida. It's there. That's what hasn't been there in these last couple of years. And that's what makes LSU like a legitimate national championship contender, right? If they do figure out that offensive side of the ball, if that offensive line, can establish a run game a little bit better, if Garrett Nussmeier can be more effective, more efficient, if those wide receivers can just do what we know they can do, it's a national championship contending team, potentially. I know that's crazy to say after watching these first 4 weeks of LSU, but I get it. I get it with the talent on this team. But yeah, with that being said, I'll roll with the Rebs in this one. And just because they dropped this game either, like else, if they were dropped this game, like that doesn't mean that they're out of contention at all. Like this is just a Saturday in these power conferences. It's a Saturday in these power conferences this year. You may drop a game on the road to a team that's really good. So I'm excited for this one, man.